Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CRL. We have just finished up qualifier number 2, and I'm so excited to get this one underway for you guys. To start off, I just want to go ahead and throw on the screen my predictions. I'm actually really proud of this one. I decided to honestly just throw some quick ones together. A couple were a little bit memeish, um, but I was really surprised to find out at the end of the day 14 out of 17 I got correct. Also, it's 17 pools for this qualifier, something that actually we weren't able to talk about before. The University of Louisiana Lafayette sadly had to be disqualified from qualifier number 1. One of their players was just ineligible. I don't know anything beyond that. I'm not going to try and start any rumors. So we're going to just leave it there. But that means that the West pool or West Conference is going to have 9 pools for qualifier 2. Seems pretty fair to me. But I managed to get 14 out of 17 right on just like a quick throw together predictions. So I'm really happy about that. Where I managed to get Ball State, Illinois State, Fisher Friends, Nichols, Akron Gold, and Bruton Parker correct from the East. I did not get Stockton, or I didn't get Oakland, and I didn't get Rochester, having Stockton and Valleyfield over them respectively. And then in the West, because of the DQ, there's 9 pools. I got correct Borregos, Missouri S&T, UT Arlington, Kansas, San Diego State, CSU. That's us. I'm in CRL. UNLV and Mizzou all correct. And then I did a meme pick by picking Arizona State over Dragonas Carolina, who ended up making it through. So yeah, that means I'm in CRL. I don't know. I get much more credit now, right? That means you are required to go like and subscribe down below. I'm kidding. No, please do. We are going to go ahead and move on, though. I'm so happy that I was able to do so many predictions correct. I mean, big brain analysis, boys, shoe here. But we have a lot to get through. So we have 17 pools. I'm going to try and take just about a minute at most to go through each pool. Starting off, pool number 1, Ball State. That's basically the entire pool. Ball State looked incredibly solid. Of course, they got upset in the last one where they were the number 5 seed. They lost to Kennesaw State University, who was playing so well. Ball State, everyone came in and was like, okay, yeah, they dropped the ball. No pun intended. They should be completely fine. It was a little shaky because of the fact that Harrisburg and Northern Kentucky were both in this pool as well. It's like, I don't know, one of these teams could upset Ball State. No. They swept Harrisburg twice, only dropping a single game to the University of Connecticut. Harrisburg and NKU both looked pretty solid, and University of Connecticut, a team that I think is definitely underrated by a lot of people, myself included. They're playing really, really well. Of course, the only team to take a single game off of Ball State, Harrisburg, couldn't do that in 6 games, as well as taking it to Game 5 against Northern Kentucky, who then lost in Game 5 to Harrisburg. So all very close together there. And then we have pool number 2, where Illinois State could not possibly be stopped. Siena Heights University definitely tried taking them to Game 5 in the winners finals before then losing to them again in a sweep in the grand finals. And George Mason University also putting up a strong fight, losing to Siena Heights both times. They were able to make the comeback against Syracuse. Good job, guys. So those will both be good teams going into the opens. There's going to be 4 opens that are all the teams outside of league play get to play in it. One combined thing, no conferences. And then moving on, we have a pretty crazy pool. If we go ahead and look up top here, Fisher Friends losing to Shawnee State Bears. They also managed to beat RIT, who have made CRL in past years. So the fact that they were able to beat RIT and then sweep Fisher and then beat Vespa, who was the number 2 seed of their pool, insane. I don't really know how that happens. So absolutely insane. However, Fisher came back for massive revenge. They ended up sweeping Central Florida, Kentucky, and Vespa to then sweep Shawnee in the first grand final series, and then they drop a single game in the final one. But Fisher Friends, clearly surprised by Shawnee, and were not the second time. So of course we're gonna have to see great things from Shawnee State after such an insane performance. No one expected them to do this well. And then Vespa, who is actually three solid players, also can expect decent things from them in the Open. And then we have pool number 4, where we have Stockton, we have Davenport, and we have Oakland. Basically, the three big teams. Seton Hall, also, I'll give them an honorable mention. This was a very stacked group. But we do notice, though, Stockton clear through the uppers, Oakland clear through the uppers as well, beating out Davenport in a sweep, which was pretty crazy considering how well Davenport did in Qualifier 1. Oakland managing to win that winners final in 5. Stockton then wins the first grand final in 5, and then Oakland sweep in the last one. Big thing I want to talk about, though, Davenport dropping fast. After losing to Oakland in a sweep, they immediately lose to Central Florida Academy in a game number 5. Now, I believe this is Taubes and Reeves. This is a team that they're technically like the UCFB team. They just completely destroy the A team and like all these other things a ton of the time. This is the team that from Central Florida that I believe made it to Summer Series playoffs. I want to say either top 8 or top 16, just randomly. So it's not like super surprising, but just the fact of how good Davenport looked, this was a bit surprising. Oakland, with the roster pickup of Peep, who I believe is rank X alongside Whale and Tysonic Boom, managed to make it over Stockton. I don't think I actually said Stockton had a sub. Sorry, I don't think I actually said that. So in place of Drip, because he was unable to make it, Anthony Pizza showed up. Definitely very close. I think probably would have gone in the favor of Stockton had Drip been there. Just that slight elevation. Stockton going to be one of the strongest teams by far in the Opens, and I look forward to seeing them there. And then we get to Rochester University, where it seems like anytime I say anything bad about them, they take it personally. I had said that Valleyfield was going to beat them in this one. It wasn't even like anything against Rochester. I just wanted to see another Canadian team make it through. After St. Clair Gold made it through in the last qualifier. No, they took it personally. So did Indian River State, who actually sweep Valleyfield in the upper semifinals. Rochester beat Rutgers, and then Rochester goes on to sweep Indian River State twice. Indian River State, a better performance than previous. I think that they're still around where we expected, but this was definitely one of their better performances since Seabass left the roster. Big thing to note is that Valleyfield lost in the losers semifinals to Rutgers, and then Indian River State beat Rutgers in the losers finals. So IRC and Rutgers and Valleyfield, big teams to look for in the Open. I think Valleyfield will come back. IRC trying to make that name for themselves now, and Rutgers looking like a little bit of that underdog there. And then we get to Nichols College, and how did they even get the 6th seed? I mean, Nichols College, they were the 16th seed in qualifier number 1, took it to Fisher College, like massively took it to them, and then they only get 6th seed? I don't know what that's up about. Clearly, they don't know either, because they were mad, sweeping almost every single team one after the other before then winning in game 5 of the grand final. No bracket reset. Not surprised whatsoever. Nichols College should have been the 2nd seed, I think. But, it is what it is. Ohio State did pretty well. Ohio State Scarlet, them and their sister team of OSU Gray both actually did surprisingly well, considering there was zero talk about the Ohio State rosters. Basically, since they fell off the radar, St. Clair Saints Green, sadly, unable to make it alongside their sister team of Gold, but they played pretty well. We'll have to see how they managed to do in the Open. And then we have pool number 7, which is just utter chaos. If we go ahead and look, King University beat Akron Gold. That was crazy. Algonquin, DQ. Who knows where they went? But after a 49th to 64th in qualifier 1, maybe it was better that they didn't show up because they were not looking good before. I don't know if the DQ has anything to do with that or if it's just, someone couldn't make it. Who knows? But that messes up the entire bracket. South Florida decided to take it into their hands, completing the bracket through the uppers, sweeping King. Before then, in the lower bracket, we see Stevens on an absolute tear down here. That's Stevens Institute of Technology with Beastabonium. They made it, was it fall 22? I want to say they made it and then got bottom of the East. Akron Gold barely beat out Stevens. Game 5 beat King in that revenge arc, 3-1. Before then, beating South Florida 3-1 and a 3-2. Super close series. Was so much fun to be able to see that. Akron Gold joining Akron Blue in league play, but so much chaos. From this, we can see South Florida's obviously here to play. King's here to play. Stevens is apparently here to play as well. We haven't heard too much from them since they qualified. And since they have had a couple of graduations and roster changes since they made league play, we weren't expecting much from them, but they did pretty well. And then we get to pool number 8, which I had deemed the bloodbath of the East. We have Grand Valley State, Carnegie Mellon. We have Bruton Parker, who played super well in qualifier number 1, as well as the Université de Montréal. All 4 of these teams, I thought definitely any of these teams could make it. And it got very close. Bracket went pretty smoothly, honestly, until Bruton Parker beat GVSU 3-1 there. Even looking at the bottom side, though, only thing Carnegie did not manage to even win their quarterfinal. UDEM managed to make it to the loser final. GVSU come back just to lose to Bruton Parker College again. Bruton Parker looking so incredible, exciting to see how they do in the East. Of course, they have a lot of competition, so it's going to be tough. GVSU, though, UDEM, both absolute praise. They're going to look so good in the Open. That is all for the East. Let's go ahead and move over to the West, where I get the honor of talking about so many good teams. Starting off in pool number 1, we have the battle between Borregos and North Texas, where it was close between these two teams. And then in third and fourth, Kansas and Weber State kind of went back and forth. That's Kansas red team, by the way, the B team for Kansas, not the blue team. Borregos, it was basically just between Borregos and North Texas, though. North Texas taking the winter finals, and then Borregos taking the grand final and the bracket reset in game 5s. And actually, a fun fact, actually, this isn't fun at all. A interesting fact is that this is the first time that CRL veteran Lucia will not be competing in CRL in league play since his start in fall 2020, where he did make it them as well. So he has gone 6 out of 7 qualifiers now making it through. Just sad to not see him there. Thought it was a very interesting statistic considering he is such a large part of the scene. And I would say the poster boy of North Texas. But it does mean a Mexican team makes it. So then we have pool number 2, Missouri S&T played pretty solidly. Grand Canyon and San Jose had a battle back and forth. You can see San Jose sweeps Grand Canyon at first. Grand Canyon goes through, then beats San Jose just to go against Missouri S&T. Manages to sweep Missouri S&T, but MS&T finally manages to clutch it out. Wins 3-1 in the bracket reset. Missouri S&T is back into CRL. And then we get another battle. The Battle of Texas. UT Dallas against UT Arlington, where you can see the battle, hard fought, but one-sided. UT Arlington for sweeping UT Dallas. Then UT Dallas come back up, and UT Arlington beats them again in a game number 5. I was talking to Caribou before and after the day. He was really sad that he had to play against UT Dallas. These guys are pretty close, basically sister schools of Texas. So they didn't want to play against each other, but it was a hard fought battle. They had all the respect for each other. They both played really great. But we see UT Arlington with Adverse, Nava, and Caribou making it back into CRL. It seems like Samba was not required for them to make it. And then we have Kansas A team, Kansas Blue, who just basically managed to sail through everything. UBC Gold, the number 2 seed of the bracket, actually had beaten St. Edward's University, the number 1 seed of all of West in Qualifier 1. UBC managed to beat them in the winners quarterfinals just to find themselves losing this time around pretty early, first losing to USC Cardinal as well as UT Austin in that lower round 4, not even making it to the losers quarterfinals. Kansas just blast their way through against ASU Black, which is the C team apparently for ASU. They managed to upset ASU Gold, the B team, in the same school qualifier, before then also beating UCSB Gold. Fairly easy stuff for Kansas. Nothing that you can really talk about there. Then San Diego State University against CU Boulder. Cal Poly not doing nearly as well as the seeding hoped. CU Boulder, though, doing really great with their new addition of Brazy. So solid school. CU Boulder, of course. Mixed feelings for them, especially after that football game that happened between CSU and CU, the Rocky Mountain Showdown. But CU Boulder managed to win in the winners finals in 5. SDSU comes back after beating TK's UANL. SDSU then wins in 5 and then in 4 in the bracket reset. I was very mixed about this one. On one hand, Boulder, Colorado, I would have loved to see them in there. But at the same time, San Diego State is a Mountain West Conference school, same as CSU. So it is great to see them in there. We are actually, I'll get to the number at the end when we get to that last Mountain West team that makes it through. And now we get to CSU Rams. My team. If you don't know already, I am the sub for the CSU Rams. I'm also the Rocket League coordinator of our program and club officer. If you couldn't already tell from the I messed that up. CSU flag right here. We dominated. As you can tell, CSU did not drop a single game this entire bracket. Not only that, but we only dropped at most 4 goals at most in a series that was between Long Beach in the grand finals and Bethany Esports, which was basically our warm-up, where H says they own goal twice. So that tells you something. The really big thing, though, I was managed to find all the numbers. CSU, 55 goals to 14. That is an insane number that you can't really expect anywhere else. I think that this equates genuinely to in qualifier 1, where St. Edward's had to make that lower bracket 1. The moment that they dropped down to the lower bracket, didn't lose a single game, absolutely dominated every single team they played. This is exactly the same. CSU Rams just dominated, and I don't even think we looked our best. I think that we have a lot of room to grow. There were double commits, there were communication errors, but the passing game was so strong. Everyone was connecting on the offense, and the defense really cleared up from qualifier 1. So I'm so happy to see CSU in CRL once again. H, really our carry into CRL. I'm going to get a title, guys. How do you feel about that? Shu, me, the CRL statistician, is getting a CRL title. That's what happens when you're sub for a really good team. But good thing to talk about. Long Beach managed to make a really good lower bracket run after losing to North Texas B in the quarterfinals. Managed to beat UCSD, New Mexico State, Loyola Marymount, and A&M. Lots of sweeps. Really good from Long Beach. Oh, and also WashU at the very start. Long Beach, just a really good lower bracket run to bring it back. Sadly, of course, they had to run into us in the finals. So excited to see how Long Beach does in the opens. And then we get more CU Boulder. What is going on here? CU Boulder Gold, the B team for CU Boulder, managed to upset the Ottawa Braves, the number 2 seed of the bracket. And then also University of Arizona managed to upset Oregon State. So Boulder managed to make it to the winners finals. Two Boulder teams make it to the winners finals in qualifier two. That's insane. However, UNLV managed to quick work of both them and the University of Arizona. And that is the fourth Mountain West Conference team to make it through. First, Boise, San Diego State, us at CSU, and UNLV. Mountain West Conference, we're doing pretty well. I'm also looking to do a video soon about how CRL would look if we did conferences like that. So make sure to stick around for that in the upcoming weeks. Before we get to pool number 8, where this one, ignore all the random check marks and DQs. Apparently, the website just looked at Oregon and said, "Oh, you guys DQ'd last week, so we'll DQ again." No, Oregon showed up. It was actually very funny because I actually thought Oregon DQ'd again, which would have been absolutely insane. No, Oregon played pretty well. Mizzou also doing really well, showing up here. It was just a battle between Mizzou and Oregon. Actually, I forgot. Oregon was playing with a sub, so they didn't have Arrow for this, which I think is definitely a big thing to talk about. Mizzou managing to win in Game 5 and Game 5 in the winners final and the grand final. So who knows how Oregon would have done with their full starting roster. We would have known in qualifier 1 if they didn't DQ. But I'm sure Oregon will do very well in the opens if they participate. And then moving on to the final bracket, Pool 9. Dragonas Carolina, Cal Poly Pomona, and who I thought was going to make it, Arizona State University Maroon, Anthem and Wunzen, previously from Cal Poly. Cal Poly Pomona's not a fluke. I think we can say that's the Broncos esports, by the way, is Cal Poly Pomona. Qualifier 1, they did incredibly well. They hadn't really changed their team since the start of summer. They're just doing much better now. I don't know what work they put in, but it's clearly working. Managing to do really well, being Texas Tech, losing, of course, to Dragonas, being Texas Tech again in that losers final, beating Dragonas in the grand final, sweep, before then getting swept in return, meaning Dragonas Carolina, for the first time, qualify for CRL. This is now 2 Mexican teams in CRL for fall 2023. Not only does that make CRL history, but it means that Mexico has more teams in CRL than Canada. The only Canadian school to make it through is St. Clair Gold. Only one. 2 Mexican teams, 1 Canadian team. That I just thought was an insane statistic to have, since Canada is so closely related with US generally when it comes to results and strong players, everything like that. I think that if Durham was able to participate in the fall, I don't know why they weren't able to, but they participated over summer, looked really good. If they did, I think it would have been tied to it too. But Mexico above Canada, which is very, very interesting. That is all we have for today, guys. I hope that you did enjoy this CRL recap of qualifier number 2. Next video that's going to be coming out is going to be our rankings of all of the teams that made CRL League play, how they're going to do in their conferences. It's going to be very exciting, and I will see you guys there. Peace out.